Good morning. Welcome to Çankaya University 25th year, a quarter century activities. Today, our guest speaker is Prof. Dr. Levent ERTAUL of California State University, Chairman of the Computer Science Department. Vice President of the Çankaya University, Prof. Dr. Selçuk will now introduce our speaker. Yeah, please.
Okay. Good morning, all. It's my pleasure to present Professor Dr. Levent ERTAUL as
turn on the audio, please.
Can you hear me? Okay, so I'll start again. Good morning, everybody. Today we have a guest speaker from, as Ahmet Hoca told us, explained, he's from California State University, chairman of the Computer Science Department. He is also a close friend of mine that we had worked together at Hacettepe University for a long enough time. And we have always been in touch since then. It's actually my pleasure to see him at excellent good positions, and he's been carrying out some important work in the area of computer science, especially in the computer network security. He's become a world-class expert in this area. Again, as I said, it's my pleasure actually to see him in these positions. I want to take this opportunity to thank him in person on behalf of myself and also Çankaya University administration. I guess it's going to be a long, exciting talk, so I want to stop here. Thank you again, Levent.
Thank you for those nice words, Hocam. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ahmet Hocam. And thanks for inviting me for this important anniversary of Çankaya University. And congratulations to everybody who got involved in the process of making Çankaya University, basically. And 25 years, I cannot even believe it. I remember that many years ago, the Çankaya University was a university set up in Ankara, basically. And now it is such a big institution, and with a lot of students, a lot of faculty, and impressive records in teaching and in research. I really thank you for everybody who got involved in the whole process in the university. Okay, so let's start my presentation. Let me share my screen. Let's go and share the screen. And then I'm going to go and pull up my presentation. And then let's swap to this slideshow. Okay, yeah. So this is not my first seminar. I think this is like 100 or something that I did this seminar. And every time when I go to these conferences and the universities to deliver this speech, they ask me to give a short, very short introductory information about myself. And I got fed up with that request all the time. And I said, okay, I'm going to prepare something. Okay, it's going to be really short and it's going to be very interesting. Okay, let's start with my short bio. And then first of all, my name is this. I do this and this. I am still doing this. And I am doing all this in this. And I teach this and this and this and a little bit of this. And I teach all this to this. My passion is this and this. You may think that I am this or this, but I am definitely not this unless you think I'm this. I live in this universe. I live in this house. I don't carry a ring on top of my head. I'm not as modest as this guy. And I'm not as aristocrat as this guy. I love reading. I love music. I like traveling. I like meeting different people. I don't do things like this. I do things with this. I have a lot of this, and all of them resembles this. So this was my short bio. I hope you enjoyed it. And we're gonna visit this bio because I gave some things in that bio that we're gonna discuss in the slides that we're gonna see in a minute. So the topic of the subject or the subject of my speech is going to be how can you protect yourself in cyberspace? Can I get some privacy? So I'll try to explain the things not in very technical details, but in a kind of discussion level. Okay, you can do this, you can do that, you may use this tool, you may use that tool, or are you aware of this, or are you aware of that this? So we're gonna have a discussion. And let's start that discussion with my house that I live in. Okay, this is my house. As you see, I don't have walls in my house. And this is my bedroom. And this is my sitting room. And this is my restroom. And just before or the front of the restroom, I have my little kitchen. So I started living in this house like 5 years ago. And there is a road over here, right here. And after, I should say, maybe 1 or 2 months later, some people came in the middle of the night and parked their car over here, right here. And then they start watching me in the middle of nights, basically. And I got, of course, a little bit disturbed. And then following nights, more people came. And following nights, more people came. And then I put a sign right here at that tree saying that, please respect my privacy. You know what happened? After I posted that sign, more people came. And then you cannot believe, I mean, hundreds of cars, okay, just parking right here and watching me during the night in my house. So my question is going to be this, of course. If you live in this kind, or would you like to live in this kind of house? And I can hear some things from you guys. Some people said, oh, well, this is fantastic. I'm going to live. I would love to live in this kind of house. Or some people said, oh my God, I don't have any privacy. So how am I going to sleep at night, for example, right here? Okay. So that's going to be the difficult choice. Well, the thing is that I couldn't able to live in this house because, as I said, I couldn't get my privacy from these guys who were parking their cars and watching my house. So then I bought another house and I moved out. So you think that the houses that we live in right now, or you live in right now, with the walls and everything, is different than this house. If you think that the houses that you live in is different than this house, that means that unfortunately you are not very aware of the technology that we have, and you are not very aware of the scope of the cyberspace. So let's wrap it up this first slide. First of all, the information that I gave you was a fake information. This is not my house. I didn't live in this house. And as you know, that fake information is everywhere right now. So this was one of them, basically. But this one, built by a very famous architect in New York for his house, and he actually had problems that I just described. And now he cannot live in this house. And he is, this house is a museum in New York. And then if you have a chance and if you come to New York, you can visit this house as a museum. It's called Glass House. I am using this analogy because in cyberspace, the space that we live in is not different than this glass house. The houses that you live in is not different than this glass house. And on the other slides, we will explain how that's possible. In this presentation, I will try to focus on this private part, this restroom. And I will try to explain to you guys how can we build this kind of a little bit private place in the cyberspace. So let's start what the cyberspace is first of all. Okay, this is the map of the cyberspace. All the connections, okay, all the routers and switches, bridges, whatever, all those things are right here, and they put in a map. But this is like 10 years old, and these light up places are the major routers on the internet that manages the traffic. And look at now, I mean, this traffic and this usage of the cyberspace is exploding. In other words, they light up everywhere, right here. So let's have a look at the details of this cyberspace. In my presentation, in my bio, I said that I live in this space. That space is the cyberspace. You live in that space too. This is your world. So let's have a look. What is interesting in this world? This is, as I said, called internet map. Okay, and some people put the data, or let me put it this way, they counted the number of hits that companies, cyberspace companies, are getting on the internet, and they put it in a map. So these circles shows the companies who are actually operating in cyberspace. And if the circle is big, that means that that company is really powerful. A lot of people are using that company in cyberspace. So let's guess this circle over here. It seems that this is the biggest circle in this entire cyberspace. Which company do you think this is? Again, I'm hearing things. You guys are saying, some people are saying, oh, this is Facebook, or some people are saying, oh, this is Google, and some people are most probably saying, oh, this is Yahoo. Okay. Oh, okay. I saw something. He said Google. Yeah. Okay. Let's check it. And I'm just clicking on that one. Yes. Number one is Google. So look at this. Global rank is number one. So in other words, in the entire world, this is number one biggest company, and also ranking in United States number one. And let's have a look at the second one. Any guess? I'm checking it from the your answers from this chat. Anybody? Anyone? Okay. We got rid of the Google. Who's remaining? Instagram. Somebody says Instagram. Okay. Let's check it. I don't think it's Instagram. Look at this. Facebook. Facebook is globally number two, and number two in United States. And this goes on like this. And then Facebook is going to be number three, Yahoo, Bing, Twitter, okay? And all these companies, and MSN right here, all these companies are very powerful internet companies. Look, guys, what is important over here is that although there are a lot of discussions going on, they say that the United States is losing power. United States is not the number one anymore. United States is this, United States is that. I tell you this, in cyberspace, major 5 first companies that affects the lives of the people all around the world is still US companies. 5 major companies. They are still US companies. Others are coming. Look at these yellow ones. This yellow one is China. And then if you click on the China side, oh, Baidu. Baidu is global rank number 9, but Chinese rank is number 1. So China is coming. Most probably in the future we're gonna see more yellow circles. Okay. So what about Turkey? So let's have a look Turkey. I believe these red ones over here is gonna be Turkey. I'm opening. Yeah, here we go. I will see Facebook. and mynet, create.com, what is this? Ecoli.net and hover7.com. But I think the biggest one was guarantee over here. Yes, right here. sahibinden.com, and look at this. Google again. So Google is globally #1, but at the same time, if you go to every nation, okay, and then you will see that Google is also in #1 in those countries. And look at this YouTube. Is second one or third one? Third one. But hey, YouTube is Google. So can you imagine the power that they have? Okay, that's why it is very, very important. So don't forget that those companies are one of the most influential companies in the cyberspace. So is cyberspace dangerous? I keep getting this question all the time when I go different places. They say that, hey, okay, everyone says that, hey, in the cyberspace, don't do this, don't do that, because it is very, very dangerous. And I'm saying, oh, should I use my cell phone? Should I use my laptop? Should I use my tablet? Hey, I'm telling them that driving is dangerous too, but you do drive, right? Okay, I mean, this dangerous thing is always there. But let's have a look how dangerous this thing while we are speaking. I'm going to show you a map right now. This is real life map. It shows some attacks happening and identified by a company called FireEye. FireEye is one of the internet cybersecurity company. For example, right now I got an attack from Germany to United States, Portugal to Philippines, China to Thailand. Oh my God, someone is attacking from Latvia to United States. Oops, somebody attacks United States right here, San Francisco. So you see, while we are talking, things are happening behind the scenes. So that means that this place is dangerous and we have to do something to protect ourselves. As if behind the scenes some war going on that we may not be aware. I'm sure that while I'm talking right now with you guys, some of you guys are checking your cell phones, some of you guys are using your laptops or tablets or something like that. You are already active while even listening. But when you are active, these things are happening. And as a cybersecurity experts, I should say that those guys' jobs are to protect their resources, okay, against this kind of attacks. But hey, this is happening in your own eyes, okay, at the real time and real information. And as you see that the top 5 reported industries right now is the financial services, consulting, telecom, manufacturing, so on and so forth. So there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. So that's the point. So it is a dangerous place. So we established that one. Now everything becomes or becoming a computer. Okay, so you have smartphones, you have smart TVs. Okay, we have smart houses, smart cities, and smart cars are coming. I mean, if you come to San Francisco, so I'm doing this presentation from San Francisco, by the way, and it is 11:20 right now. It's almost midnight that I'm trying to deliver this speech to you guys. And when you drive in San Francisco streets right now, especially these days, oh my God, you're gonna see these autonomous cars, bunch of them. They are everywhere, and those companies, Google and the others, are testing these cars on the San Francisco streets. And then everyone is using this Nest, the smart thermostat. And guess what? Smart toilet is coming right now. This is a Google product, by the way, this smart toilet. And it's not Google product, but Google is trying to build that kind of product. They applied for a patent, basically, so that you don't have to go to the doctor anymore to give your urine test or something. So when you do your business, they're gonna go and test it on the toilet. Basically, the toilet is going to be directly connected to your doctor's office, so you don't have to do any test. Basically, in the past, this all cyberspace, all the smart things, were kind of conceptual stuff. It was virtual abstraction, I said it right here, okay? But now, this virtual world can, that's very important, guys, can touch the physical world. What does that mean? So if these things, if this cyberspace, if it is used properly, it may cause physical harm. So in other words, it may destroy the nuclear stations, or it may destroy the electric generators or some chemical plant or something like that. So it can be used as a weapon. So it became such a, this abstracting, it became such a physical world. So as if like, hey, you will have some kind of link like this killeverybody.com, and when you click on that one, bam, everybody is dead. But unfortunately, yeah, for my case, I cannot locate the internet server or proxy server. So thank God that this is not a working link. But that is the reality right now. So that scares the hell out of a lot of people, including the governments. So that's why the cyber war becomes such an important concept, especially these days because of the Russia and Ukraine crisis. And because of this dangerous stuff and because of the abstraction can touch the physical world and everything, cyber space became such a big business. Okay? And these are the companies. I got this one last year at a conference. Okay. It is incredible. I mean, multi-billion dollar business. Okay? And every one of these companies are specialized on these subjects. Humongous. I may say this. Any company who's dealing with computers, hardware or software, it doesn't matter. They have a security product. They have a security product. Every one of them became a security related company. It is a big, big, big business. Okay, how are we going to defend this cyberspace? Is it easy or is it not easy? Personally, what can I do to defend myself, okay, in this complex environment? Let me show you how complex this thing, and also it may be how simple for some other people. This is United States infrastructure. That's the partial. It's for one company. If I'm not mistaken, it should be Verizon or something. But we have like 4 or 5 major companies in the United States. Each one of them have this kind of infrastructure. And these are the main routers that controls the major traffic, the information superhighways, basically. But imagine, put 5 this kind of stuff into this map, okay? And take the image of this one into your brain right now, because I'm gonna ask you something. I will say that, okay, please close your eyes, and then when I say open your eyes, and open your eyes, okay? So get ready for that one. Look at this picture, and think about 5 more like this picture, on this picture, okay? Take that one as an image in your brain, and close your eyes. And open your eyes. Okay, this is Chinese infrastructure. China's cyberspace infrastructure. And look at this. I was telling you 5 more this kind of map for United States. And this is whole China. Whole China. Controlled by one big center, one big router kind of stuff. Okay. This is in the University of Peking, if I'm not mistaken. So it does control in traffic and out traffic, and also the inside of China. So if you are a cybersecurity engineer, and if I say defend your network, okay, you may say that if I defend this part of the network, most probably I will be able to defend rest of the network. But right here, oops, right here, Okay, 5 of these things, all private companies, by the way. Okay, you don't even see one single major router, one single control place. So it is very, very hard to defend this kind of environments. So that's why right now in the world, some countries are trying to get this kind of model, it's infrastructure for cyberspace for their countries, so they can control the information. Okay? In China, they do control the information. Let's put it that way. Very, very intelligently, by the way. Okay, very, very intelligently. And there are some other things in the different model. We call that a kind of Russian model. In Russian model, they don't care about the infrastructure, but they control the information in a way that they manipulate the information. And we will discuss that one again in a minute. So these are the two important the countries that they play the very important role in the cyberspace. And if you look at the global traffic, again, the major cyberspace traffic comes and goes from United States. So it's still United States is distributing everything on the cyberspace. So these are the infrastructures. And then now let's go into the cyberspace and then let's have a look at the scope of the cyberspace. If you are a little bit technical person and if you have computer science degree or the engineering degree, the electronics engineering degree or something like that, you know that in the physical layer and logical layer, network layer, we are pretty good. We do have pretty nice protocols and everything so that it is working properly. Okay. And like most probably you guys, all of you guys, the people who join this presentation knows that we use the SSL protocols at the application layer, right? And the VPNs, IPsec, and then we have error detection, error correction, and all error detection mechanisms, especially in the logical network layer. So IPs, MACs, they work perfect. So in other words, this part is very well defined: geographical layer, physical layer, and logical layer. But where we are having problem is it came with the cyberspace is this part. When I was a student, okay, 30 years ago, of course, we had only one email. And we were asking questions to each other. Hey, do you have an email? Do you have an email? Okay. Do you have any email address? And then now, when I ask this question to my students in my classes, I ask how many email accounts you have. How many email? So it's not one anymore. Okay. At least 3 or 4 email accounts that every person is using. So you are a physical person at this layer. Let's say that it is me, okay, Levent. This is my physical identity, Levent ERTAUL, California State University, Spain. So everyone can search on internet, can find me, okay? But when I open the accounts, let's say for the emails, I am using different things. For example, let's say that Earth is my email address, okay? In one email address, let's say in Yahoo, okay? And then Lev is another address in let's say in Gmail, and Levo is another address in Hotmail. Okay, now I have Lev Earth, okay? 3 different people, okay? But all of them are connected to a physical person, me. Now, we call them this is Lev, Earth, and Levo type of usernames. This is cyber persona. So one physical person may have multiple cyber personas. So that may cause problems if you are trying to, for example, identify who the attacker is in cyberspace. Okay, so attack comes from Leo Gmail account, but how do you know that I am the one who owns Leo? So we call that attribution. And attribution may have different levels. I may convince myself that this person did this or this person has this account, okay? and or I may convince a nation, for example, that this person has this account, and that I may also convince the whole world saying that this account belongs to this person. So this physical persona and the cyber persona levels are really, really problematic. And then it does cause good things and also bad things. Okay? First of all, it does provide anonymity so that people can freely write whatever that they want to write or whatever they want to do. But at the same time, if some bad actors are playing in the field, which is the case, by the way, it is very, very difficult for the good actors to physically identify those bad actors. We're gonna visit this subject later, okay? And then we will discuss the law, regulations, and those kind of things because that's gonna be important for us. Okay, why people are talking too much about the cyberspace? Why we are having too many problems in cyberspace? Have to think about that one? I mean, have you thought about that one before? Why the hell this cyberspace is such a mess? Because of five major vulnerabilities. Five major vulnerabilities. It scares the hell out of people and the governments. Governments are very, very important at this point. And we call them five gateways or five vulnerabilities of the cyberspace. First one, instantaneous action at a distance. That means if someone is attacking you, it's going to cause a physical damage or something like that. Okay. When they press the return button, bam, you got the attack. And your hospital or your nuclear station exploded. Okay. So it is speed of light. So you don't have time to get ready and to prepare yourself against this attack. Okay. And you will you will realize that you are under attack when the attack happens. So that is extremely important. For example, and right now this Russia and Ukraine problem is going on, and Russia is raising the alarms of the nuclear weapons and everything. If Russia fires nuclear weapons from Russia to the United States, the closest one is the West Coast that I live in, the San Francisco, in other words. For those missiles to reach the San Francisco, it takes 15 minutes. 15 minutes. So that means United States have time to get ready for defense, okay, for against those missiles. But we don't have that kind of luxury in cyberspace because when something happens, it is going to happen with the speed of the light. And the other one is asymmetries of cyberspace. That is very, very interesting vulnerability. And then I know that I work with a lot of governments with NATO countries as well, so that when I talk to them, and these are powerful countries like United States, Germany, England, okay, and France. So when I talk to them, they were really scared about these asymmetries of the cyberspace. So what is this asymmetries of cyberspace? Okay, I will give you a real example, real world example. Okay, this happened in the Afghanistan war. Okay, this happened in Afghanistan war. With a very old laptop, $100, $200, okay, and $10 software, or maybe it is free software. Some people managed to get the American drones. Their cost is $10 billion. $10 billion, $10 software. Let's say the $200 computer as well, okay, and then $200, $10 billion. So this $200 power is actually killing $10 billion, very sophisticated, very advanced device. So we call that this kinetic power, okay? And it's, as far as kinetic power is concerned, United States is #1 with all these weapons and everything. But hey, don't forget, $10 software with a not very high computer. I will say this, most probably you guys know Raspberry Pis, right? I mean, it's like $75 or $50 computer. Run very nice Linux, okay? And then there are some versions of Linux available that a lot of attack tools over there, right? And then those tools, you may use those tools and you may do something for those big, powerful, or towards these big, powerful governments. So those guys are immediately saying, oh, okay, what are we gonna do? Now the kinetic power doesn't mean too much because this $10 software or free software could cause some problems. So that's why the governments are very nervous in these asymmetries of the cyberspace. Of course, the good thing is that was the major idea behind the internet is anonymity. Okay, this is a very famous New York Times cartoon in America. It says that, hey, on the internet, nobody knows that you are a dog. Yeah. So that was very important for internet, that you have to provide anonymity. So it is not going to be easy, okay, for you to identify who is behind the screen, okay, who is behind. So that created freedom, and that freedom created social changes all around the world. But again, governments got pissed off with this thing, okay, and they were saying that, hey, we have to find a way to identify the people. Even some ideas was going around, even in the United States, they were saying that we should have some kind of ID cards, okay, to use the internet. So imagine yourself, you're gonna have a card reader on your computer, and you're gonna have a card, smart card that is, issued by the government, okay? And then you're gonna put the card on the computer to use the internet. So they will know who you are and what you are doing. So they were discussing this kind of things just because of this anonymity. And the other important thing is the lack of borders. I mean, let's go back this whole internet map. Okay, where is United States starts? Where Turkey starts? Where are borders? Unfortunately, we don't have a conventional borders in the internet. We have some borders. We call them major border gateways. Okay, and when I was working in Turnet, for example, it was Turnet at that time. Right now, I don't even remember the name of it. Something different right now. But Turnet was the first internet backbone, and we were working that place. And I remember that there was a New York entry to United States. Okay, it is a big router, in other words, that it allows the Turkish traffic to go into the United States. So we have those kind of border gateways that can be controlled. But overall, when you look at the borders, you are not going to see any borders. That is causing, again, big problems, because within the country there are laws and regulations, right? Okay, so that if something happens inside your country, you can deal with it. But if something happens from outside but affects your country, and if you even recognize and find the people behind the problem, what are you going to do with that people? Are you going to be able to prosecute them? Are you going to be able to bring it to your country and then put it in the court or something? So that is causing a lot of legal issues, okay? Legal issues on the internet. And of course, everyone knows, especially if you have the experience a little bit for the electronics of the hardware of the computers and how the computer works. If you are trying to identify which ones and zeros are the dangerous ones, good luck to you. It is very difficult, especially at the physical layer, at the 1-0 level. Okay, maybe at the upper level is a little bit better or easier, I should say. But at the physical layer, oh my God. I mean, I worked with that kind of stuff when I was doing reverse engineering. Okay, we were using IDO Pro, and then we were trying to find the malwares and everything. Okay, and then we were going in the machine level, all the codes, and trying to understand what's going on. Very, very, very time-consuming and difficult job. So let me put it this way: it is not easy to identify which ones and zeros are good ones and which ones and zeros are bad ones. Okay, so because of these things, these 5 things, okay, we are having all the problems that is happening in the cyberspace. There's just 5 things: instant action, asymmetry, difficulty of distinction, lack of borders, okay, and the asymmetric properties of the cyberspace, basically. And then if that is the case, what the governments are doing, what the corporations are doing, let's have a look at them, okay? And then I will go into the personal level, and then we will discuss what we can do and what we cannot do. First of all, privacy. And with this environment, that the privacy is the big deal. But hey, what is the definition of privacy? And then that is always a case that it is not very, very clear in the minds of the people. Let me put it this way: privacy is not secrecy. It does not require secrecy. It may have secrecy, but it does not require secrecy. Something like this: I have something. Let's say that okay, this is my watch. Okay, you are seeing it on the screen right now. Okay, you like my watch and you want to share this watch, okay, with me, or you are asking me to share my watch with you. But nothing is secret about the watch. Watch is here. You are seeing that I am using it. But hey, guess what? I don't wanna share it with you. So if you don't wanna share it, whether this data or data is a secret or not, okay, that's called privacy. You don't wanna share it. Some of these things that you don't wanna share could be secret, but some of the things that you don't want to share could be not secret. So that is the difference, okay, between secrecy and the privacy. So who is after your privacy? 3 major things. One is governments, like all around the world, and the other one is private companies, and the third one is criminals. Let's start with the governments. I don't know whether you guys know this guy or not, but this guy is very famous in the United States. His name is Eric Snowden. And this guy defected to Russia, I believe it's 10 years ago, 15 years ago, something like that. But he disclosed all the secret data gathering actions of NSA, National Security Agency, that was collecting information about Americans. And this guy says, every time, whatever that you do on the internet, okay, it is known by the governments. Okay, this is the United States, okay, and I'm sure that most of the countries are like that. So governments are actually collecting information about you. Okay? In some cases, it does require court orders, okay, but in some cases, it may not. So in most of the times, they are doing it secretly. Okay? Of course, the other one is the big companies like Google, Apple, Facebook, and all those kind of companies are collecting information about you. Now, this part is extremely important to understand what kind of challenges that we are having in today's world. First of all, this Google kind of guys are, as I said, collecting information, okay? But we are actually allowing them to collect the information about us because they do provide convenience. Something like this. I'm gonna drive, for example, and I am generally using Google Map. I know that you guys are using Yandex over there, but hey, Yandex is gonna be in trouble. So because of this sanctions that is coming to Russia, I believe that Yandex was having problem, and there were news in Turkey about Yandex. Well, anyway, Google is. I have to use Google Map. Hey, it is free. If I don't use the Google Map, I'm gonna have problems while I'm driving. Okay, when I'm driving, I'm finding the destination basically. So when I download the app, when I install the app on my laptop, it says that, hey, I'm gonna collect blah 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 information. Are you agree with that? That is a law in California, so that the companies have to say, okay, when you install the app, companies have to say what type of data that they are collecting. Okay, and then they have to get the permission from the user. But hey, we are saying, of course, yes. Okay, because if I don't say yes, I'm not gonna be. My life is not going to be as easy as easy as Google Map that I'm gonna use. So that's why we say yes most of the time, because they do provide convenience. Same thing is true for the government when you are flying, for example. Oh my God, you go all these security checks and so on and so forth, and then you are saying, hey, okay, safety is important. At least I know that I'm going to be safe, okay, on the plane, okay. So because government says that if you do this, you will be protected, and then you give up your privacy rights. But there is this thing going on. If you look at the history in the past, whoever has the lands, the agricultural societies, those guys were powerful. Then the industrial revolution came. Whoever had the machines, factories, they were the powerful ones. Now, whoever has the data is the powerful guys. And if I tell you this, what were the most powerful 5 companies 10 years ago in whole world? I mean, you may say Siemens, okay, and GM, and Ford, Chevy, those kind of companies. None of them right now in the list. All the companies right now who are the most powerful ones are computer-based, data-based companies. So we are in the revolution right now. Okay, so these guys are the powerful, and if you don't control these guys, okay, they will start controlling you, and they are doing that by collecting the information. I always tell this. They know everything about us. Okay, my school is next to Google campus and the Facebook campus and Apple campus. So we are right like in the middle. I have a lot of contacts, okay, with the Google, Facebook. Okay, I know those guys very well. All right. And but every time when we discuss something, okay, those discussions are always kind of not very detailed. So in other words, let me put it this way. These companies are so clever. They know everything about us, okay? But we don't know everything about them. Okay, guys, this is extremely important. I repeat, they know everything about us, but we don't know everything about them. They say with the 25 likes in the Facebook knows you better than you know yourself. How they are doing it, what type of algorithms that they are working. And then suddenly, all these companies are collecting information about you, and they're monitoring you. And then government is collecting information about you. They are monitoring you. And then suddenly, the capitalist system became surveillance capitalist system. Everything depends on the surveillance right now. It is everywhere. The cameras, physical cameras, computers, your cell phones. I mean, even your bed is a smart bed right now that when you are sleeping, they do listen you. They do record the snoring sound, they say, of course. Check whether you are snoring or not. And your TV that you are watching in your room, okay, is recording conversations, Samsung was recording, and then they said, "Oh, we don't record everything," okay, and no one is actually checking those recordings. So it became kind of surveillance society. And then in this surveillance society, we have to ask these questions. These three questions. I said these three questions are very, very important. And I'm sorry, but I can't remember her name right now. These three questions initiated by the Harvard professor, and there is a very nice book. It's called Surveillance Capitalism. And I tell you guys, go and read if you want to understand the nature of these companies and the nature of the society that we live in those glass houses. How your house became a glass house that I showed you in the first slide. Questions are this for these companies. Who knows? That's the first question. Who knows? Second question, who decides? And the third question, who decides? Who decides? I repeat, who knows? Who decides? Who decides? Who decides? If you can answer these three questions for these companies, then you know a lot of things about those companies, but they're not going to share that information. For example, we don't know what they know, okay, and what they are doing with the data that they are collecting, what type of algorithms that they are running behind the scenes. They don't disclose that kind of information. And I was in a meeting a couple of years ago, and Schmidt was the CEO of Oracle, the Google, and he says that in some interview maybe somewhere, he says that, hey, we are fine-tuning the Google filters so that when you search on something, you're gonna get more accurate information and more true information. When he said that one, I said, oh, hang on a minute, who are you? Who decides which information is the true or correct information? Are you in that position as a Google to decide blah blah information is correct information and blah blah information is wrong information? How dangerous that thing is. Okay? So again, this three questions: who knows, who decides, and who decides who decides. Okay. First of all, who decides to fine tuning? Okay, they will say there's some guys. Okay, who told that some guys to tune those filters? You don't know. So that's why we live in this surveillance era right now, and then we are struggling to deal with these things at the moment. And the cyber criminals, they're taking the advantage of some misuse stuff or some security vulnerabilities. So they are generally after your credit card, and that happens all the time. I guarantee you. I mean, I'm supposed to be a cybersecurity expert, okay? But every almost 3 months or 4 months, one of my credit cards are getting trouble. And actually, this Sunday happened. Okay, one of my credit card got stolen for some reason, but on the internet, not physical stealing, basically. And some people spent $1,000 on my credit card. And when I was trying to fix the issue with the bank, I did a lot of mistakes, and then I panicked. I'm not going to explain it right here because it takes humongous amount of time. Okay, how are you going to protect yourself? Finally, we came to the subject. What is the time? Okay, we are doing pretty good. First of all, encryption. Okay. And if you are using a PC, please encrypt your hard disk. If you are using your cell phones, please encrypt your cell phones. And I was asking a trick question all the time. Okay, who encrypts their cell phone hard disk? And then some people says, I do. Or some people says, oh, I don't. But hey, and if you are using iPhone or the new versions of the versions of the Android, you don't have to do anything because they are encrypting themselves, basically. But if you are using the laptop or PCs, okay, BitLocker, PGP. These are pretty good examples. I'm gonna, in the next slides, I'm gonna tell some products that as an example. I'm not promoting any products over here, okay? I'm just using, or I'm just giving this information from my experience. I am actually using those things and on my computers. And also I was using some of the tools when I was working in different places, okay? So, but these are not just, hey, I mean, I'm not saying this, let's put it this way. You should use, or you must use BitLocker. No, if you have some other encryption stuff that you do know that it is good, right? The important thing is that think about the encryption of your hard disk. Okay? If you wanna, don't do the hard disk because sometimes it is so cumbersome, right? And don't forget, guys, I should say maybe at the beginning, before going into the details of these products, security is a trade-off. You should ask this question to yourself: why I should encrypt my hard disk? Because when you encrypt your hard disk, when you log into the system, or when boot up in the system, it's gonna take a long time. Believe me, it's gonna definitely affect the speed and the performance of your computer. So that is quite important. So you have to ask yourself: do I need? What is the information that I have? What is the value of that information? Because generally we do forget that one. Even companies are doing the same thing. Okay, they immediately go spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for nothing, okay, because they didn't evaluate, okay, what the value of their resources are. Okay, so if you don't want to do the hard disk, okay, you can go file encryption. Maybe just one file is important for you. Okay, so if you are doing file encryption, EFS is a good example. And if you're a Mac user, File Vault is a good example. So you can protect those things. And it is pretty easy stuff, actually. And everybody's using mail. That's our lives, right? I mean, when you wake up in the morning, I'm doing at least. And after I'm getting even when I'm getting the breakfast, first thing first, I'm checking the mails. Okay. But some of the mails are just, hey, this is, hi, hello, how are you? I need this, I need that. Do I have to have security for those things? I don't think so. But sometimes maybe it is important. Okay, again, in some places that I worked, okay, in Turkey and in United States, hey, you may not be able to use the Hotmail. You are not even allowed to use Hotmail. Okay? And that's why, depending on whether you are trying to secure something really important. So I am using SMIME. If you are using Outlook, okay, PGP is a very good example. Mailvelop is free, and most of the products are free that I'm telling you. But the one that I like the most, that not a lot of people are aware, if you have a Gmail account, okay, and if you go to your phone and if you try to set up a email, compose an email. That's the word that I was looking for. Compose an email. On the right side, you will see three dots, and click on that one, and you will get this. It's called confidential mode. You can put expiration date for the emails. After 1 week, for example, that email is going to be removed from the inboxes or sent boxes of the email system. Or you may ask standard or SMS passcodes. Okay? So the people, when they get the email, okay, and they will get, you're gonna enter their phone number or something, and then they will get a passcode. So they have to enter to read the mail, and it is in the Gmail system for the mobile environments. It is extremely useful, and not very high security, but it's reasonable security. Again, do you need the high security stuff? And recently I switched to this mail, Proton Mail, and it's developed from CERN, from Switzerland. It's pretty good. I guarantee you that. And if you are asking a kind of reliable, secure communication, then these are the examples. And these days in United States, we are also getting embedded secure mails. It's like, okay, my Gmail account, but within the Gmail account, for example, I'm receiving an email to my Gmail account from Bank of America, for example, but it says that it's a secure message. Click here, and when I click there, then I do able to get and see the content of the email. So, but as an ordinary user, if you don't need security for your life, let's say, you may still use the Gmail and everything, okay? But if you need a little bit security, these are all free. This Mailvolop is a browser extension so that you can use that one, and PGP is the same thing. Okay, when you visit the internet, if you want to do anything, and then most of the time they are asking you to open an account, okay? And when you open an account, they say that you have to give us your email address, and then they send some kind of confirmation stuff to email, and then you have to click on that one, and then they confirm your identity. Or they're asking your phone number, and then they are sending some kind of text message and passcode, and then you enter. You can trick them, okay? These are the links, Mail.com and 10-minute mail and SMS receive free. And these guys are creating a dummy email, okay? But you are seeing it on your original email, okay? And 10-minute email, there's an email account valid only 10 minutes. So when you get the confirmation, when you clicked on, bam, you are in the account, but that email is no longer valid. And also they are using some phone numbers, okay, and that can be used for verification codes. So you don't have to disclose your own phone, basically, or own phone number. So this way you can cheat the system around. And of course, the major thing these days is the secure messaging. And a lot of people are using WhatsApp. WhatsApp is pretty secure actually, but at the endpoints, when it comes to the Facebook, okay, things could be a little bit different over there. Okay. Personally, I moved to Signal, okay, and Signal is a little bit better. And again, this guys actually comes from the WhatsApp, and they set up this. They came out with this product. It is free, and you don't have to pay anything. So personally, I'm using Signal. Okay, I never use Telegram. I mean, if you guys, some of you guys in the audience use the Telegram, and if you can share why Telegram, that would be great. But I know Signal and I know WhatsApp. These two of them are that I'm using for secure messaging. Antivirus. Right now, every computer that you are getting, it comes with the antivirus. You may also just ask this, and that might be important. Do I need antivirus or malware, spyware stuff for my cell phones or for my cell phone that I'm using? I mean, I know that a lot of people are running these antivirus softwares on their laptops or PCs, but not many people runs it on the cell phones. Okay. I used to use Norton along with the Windows Defender together. I had bad experiences with this Norton, McAfee, and those kind of old antivirus softwares. Then I discovered this guy, Malwarebytes, yeah, and I start. These are new generation antivirus softwares and malware, and of course this is not free, and you have to pay extra money. And then I'm using those things right now for my cell phone and for my laptops. It's been almost 5 years, I should say, that I switched to these guys, and I tell you, I didn't get any major problems at all. Okay, for this thing. Someone is asking me why I actually gave up WhatsApp. I didn't give up WhatsApp. I'm still using WhatsApp. Okay, but if I have to exchange some higher level private information, I use Signal. But other than that, I'm still very actively using it. I didn't give up. It is still much secure than text messages, for example, SMS messages. So it is level, you see. I mean, I'm using SMS too. If I want to send you an SMS message saying hi, why should I use something very secure channel? Yeah? So I may use insecure or something that is not very secure. So again, don't forget, guys, security is trade-off. You don't have to do all those things. You have to check whether you're going to protect something or not. Okay. And over here is the major thing is your privacy. Okay. But for your privacy, hey, and what type of privacy that you are trying to protect? Your identity, your social security number, your passports, okay, your home address. Yeah, I get it. Or your messages from your doctor, that kind of things. Last 10 years, one of the major things that I noticed was that a lot of people struggle to manage their passwords. And we run an experiment in my network security classes with my students. Again, last 5-6 years. We ask how many passwords we are supposed to remember. If you are choosing different passwords for each account. And then the result was, for me, 35 passwords that I have to remember for my everyday life, including the PIN numbers. Okay, and for my students, it was average 15 or 16. Okay? So, if that is the case, I'm not going to be able to choose 25 different passports and passwords, right? So what I am doing is I have some major 1 or 2 passwords, and I'm using variations of that one, or I'm using maybe exactly the same passwords for all those accounts. So a lot of people were doing that kind of stuff anyway. Yeah, I'm sure that you were doing the same thing. But last 5 years, I started using password manager programs. They are a lot, by the way. Okay, LastPass is my choice, and I use Keeper on my cell phone as well. It helped me a lot. Okay, it helped me a lot, definitely. But it created dependence. So at least in the past, I knew 4 or 5 passwords that I'm using. But right now, I don't even know those passwords because LastPass enters automatically, right? Or that thing. So I don't remember it anymore. I only remember my master password. If something happens with that guy, bam, I'm in trouble. So it creates dependency. But there are a lot of good products, very cheap, okay, that you may use for your password manager. There is also other misconception that when you delete the file or whatever that you are deleting, okay, it's been removed from your computer. That is absolutely wrong. Okay, it is still in your hard disk. Okay, I demonstrated a couple of years ago by using a tool. It's called Autopsy. That's the name of the tool. That I recovered a deleted picture from a USB driver. Okay, and that picture was deleted like 2 years ago or something like that. I got lucky. I recovered it that picture. So it is, your data is still on the hard disk, and it is very easy to recover. Again, if you lost something on your computer, go and download that Autopsy. Okay, it is free software. Okay, you're gonna recover a lot of things, and you're gonna impress your friends and everybody. Okay, with that tool, okay? Then you're not gonna lose anything. So if that is the case, how am I gonna actually remove something from my computer? Okay, that could be file, that could be directory, and data. Let's say data. I'm using Eraser, and I am actually deleting with the eraser, okay, with the eraser, my recycling bin, okay, once a week. Every Sunday, this thing runs on the background and clears my whatever the data that I deleted from my recycle bin. basic. And then this eraser comes with a lot of options, like how you're gonna, for example, I'm using Gutman pass for 35 passes, okay? And that means that this guy is writing some patterns 35 times on the file that keeps the on the space that the file used on the hard disk, okay, or on the USB drive or on the SSD and drive, basic. Or you can use PGP shredder. So that's other thing. We are storing a lot of information on the cloud right now. Cloud computing is extremely important. But if you are using Dropbox type of cloud environments, okay, my recommendation is not going to be very high for those kind of products. Again, it depends on the level of the security that you do require. I do go to Spider Oak, okay, but this is a little bit expensive. And you can actually store encrypted data on the clouds, okay? And you are the one who are managing the keys and everything, okay? Not anyone who actually controls the keys, only you. But it's a little bit expensive, okay? For 1 gig, okay, 1 gig is almost, like, I believe $25 per month or something. I might be mistaken with the price, but it's a little bit expensive. But it's very good environment. And if you wanna keep your identity secret in a way, okay, Tor browser is one of the best. Everyone is using Tor if you wanna do something on the environment. Okay, I've seen some examples. I'll tell you this. One guy, could be me, has 3 Raspberry Pis. One Raspberry Pi have the Tor browser, and he is using that Raspberry Pi only to access the bank accounts, and he's doing nothing else, not even browsing on internet, just going to bank website and dealing with these financial transactions. The other Raspberry Pi is only for emails. He does nothing, okay? And he's still using the Tor browser. Okay? And the third one is regular stuff. Okay? And I will say something else, that there is also the fourth one, okay? And it does have some private groups, so he's communicating with those private groups on that one. So it is pretty good. I used to use it, but it was pretty slow, and I got fed up with this speed issues of the Tor, and then I removed it. But now it is much better. I tell you that. Okay, and it does provide nice anonymity for the users. I'm using DuckDuckGo for the private search engine. Okay, I like it, but sometimes the output of the DuckDuckGo is not good enough for me. Okay, but it could be good enough for other people, and I go and search it on Google as well. Okay, but DuckDuckGo is the way to go. And these things are the things that I am using on my browser as an extension. Ad blocks, because you cannot read newspapers or anything anymore because these things are killing, right? Ads, it's coming everywhere. And mostly I don't connect anywhere which doesn't have HTTPS connection. Okay? And that thing is that you guys have to be very careful. Okay, and if it is not HTTP, I mean, if it is not HTTPS, think carefully. Okay, and then whatever that you are doing, pay attention to those things. And HTTPS is the secure version. If you don't know it, HTTPS is the secure version of HTTP protocols that we are using on the web. You don't even write it down anymore. Okay, and then you just write the, even www is not written anymore. And you can just write the address, say for example csuspa.edu, bam, you are over there. Privacy Badger, it checks who's tracking me when I do the when I do the search on the internet. I mean, we are doing some experiments again in the classes, and I'm telling my students, okay, go and search, for example, shoes, as if you are gonna buy some shoes. Okay. Oh my God, for 10 minutes, every one of them is getting dedicated ads, okay, related to shoes. And those things goes like 15 days. 15 days they are sending those advertisements related to the shoes. And to avoid those kind of things, Privacy Badger is really good. It blocks those kind of things. And if you go to the Facebook type of environments, as I said, Facebook knows you better than yourself with 25 likes or dislikes. Okay. But if you wanna not share your mood with the Facebook, you can go to Gorando. Gorando makes whatever that you are doing. For example, you like something, but it's gonna show to Facebook that you dislike something. Okay, so that then this guy's gonna get confused about your profile. And the Facebook demarcator, Facebook generally keeps the data based on some metrics. For example, 16 people like this. Okay, that 16, number 16 is very important for the Facebook in order to establish your profile, right? And this Facebook demarcator is going to remove that number. So the Facebook is going to see only people likes this, okay, but it doesn't see 16 people likes this. Okay, same thing is true for the Twitter. Okay, this Twitter demarcator, Ghostery, another privacy tracker, and the Q1. Q1 is another browser. Okay, and I would strongly recommend it. Is pretty secure. Go and check it yourself, and you will see how nice that is. I'm also using Shodan. Shodan shows me who is tracking my stuff with very detailed information. Shodan is such a nice. I would say that hackers are using it too. Okay, and it shows all the connected devices on the internet. It has all the information for all the connected devices at that time. So I'm using these things for my computer. But hey, I'm telling you guys this. If you use all those things, sometimes you are not going to be able to log into some pages on the internet. And sometimes some pages gives a pop-up, right? For example, to enter something, and then you may not be able to see those pop-up windows. So when you put those kind of stuff to make your environment secure, in other words, to build your restroom, okay, in the glass house, okay, you may end up having some problems. So be aware of those things. Don't overboard. Okay? So don't do these things too much. Again, trade-off. Okay, that is very important. Do you need what? Okay, and act on it, basically. That is the whole idea. And of course, VPNs. What type of VPN you're gonna use? Okay, there are a lot of VPNs, and Surfshark is my choice that I'm using. And I saw the other day that that in Ukraine crisis right now, all the Western media like BBC, CNN, and those guys are not working in Russia anymore. But for the Russians, for example, BBC gave this one PON, okay, so that by using this, people actually can watch BBC in Russia. So that is the new thing. I didn't know that one, to be honest with you. And of course, I have to tell you this: if especially for your bank accounts, for your school accounts, and so on and so forth, whatever the resource that is very important for you and valuable for you, I tell you, please go and set up your multi-factor authentication for that particular account, especially these days. Okay, especially these days. So what is multi-factor authentication? Okay, you're gonna enter your login and your password, your username and your password. Okay, but then system is gonna ask another thing, maybe from your phone. Okay, whether it's a push or a passcode or something, okay, then you're gonna enter that one. There are a variety of the multi-factor authentication support. Personally, myself, okay, I am using Duo and the Google Authenticator. But hey, there is RSA Secure ID, very, very good. And the Microsoft Authenticator is very, very good. So that you can use all those things easily, okay? And SMS message. Most of the applications uses the SMS, but don't trust SMS too much, okay? Because SMS could easily be hacked because of if you share your phone number too much around, that could be another problem. But at the same time, sometimes they are using some tricky things for this SMS messages so that they may fool you. And I go for Duo and the Google Authenticator myself for my important resources. Okay? Again, you don't have to go everywhere. I told you guys that we live in a surveillance society right now, right? And in this surveillance society, face recognitions in Facebook and in those kind of places are very, very important. But what's happening in United States, when people go to demonstrations or something, they do this kind of makeups, or they do wear this kind of accessories. These things are actually tricking the Facebook softwares. So they cannot, you see how easy you guys just gonna put a mask like this, okay? And the actual Facebook or the face recognition software is not going to be able to recognize you pretty well. And there are some apps are concerned if you're uploading some kind of picture or something for your Facebook account or for the Instagram or something like that. Okay, there's very nice something. I got this one in last year in RSA conference, and that's camera adversaria. Okay, so this is my daughter, and this is I was teaching her how to upload the pictures on the Facebook. So you see that this software is actually creates the perturbations, okay, and on the picture. So it is still recognizable for human eyes, but it is causing problems for the facial recognition system. If this is the original photo, look at the second one is a little bit perturbation right here, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. So these things on the back side, okay, on the back side, and then we call that, as I say, perturbations. And for these perturbations, you can cheat the Facebook. Why keep I saying Facebook? Facial recognition softwares, and it is available in the Android systems. I think it's gonna come to the easily to the Mac environment right now. Wireless security. Please go WPA, WPA2, PSK, TK, IP, AES settings. Too much words, okay? But select the last one. Right now, when you use the wireless modems, generally they do come with this settings anyway. You may not be, you don't have to do maybe too much. And if you want more information about how to protect yourself, please go and check these links. They have enormous amount of information, very nice information that maybe I didn't cover over here. And you can go and see more stuff that you can do. And I said that at the beginning, there's some laws related issues important for your privacy. In United States, people's privacy protected by the Constitution, the Fourth Amendment. So that protects the people against the government, not against the companies, against the government, okay? And in Turkey, we have this law, okay, it's Personal Data Protection Law 6698. So it says that your privacy rights has to be protected, okay? And this is Kişisel Verileri Koruma Kurumu. I check the people who are in that koruma, and then it seems that there is a process, okay, for the problems, okay? And you may go and check it yourself too. If you want privacy, please go to my account, google.com, if you go, if you have the Google accounts, and double check those things and review what kind of settings that you have. Okay, that is extremely important. My account, google.com. Not everybody knows that one for some reason. Okay, I don't know. Okay, but go and check this one and review what kind of settings that you have for your privacy. Chrome is collecting this information, all this information to you guys. Okay, and you know better than me anyway. So when you have the Chrome and they are collecting, how are we gonna deal with this, guys? Two important developments. One is GDPR, Global Data Privacy Regulations. Became available in 2017, I believe, or 2018, and it is a regulation for the European countries. Okay, now you have right of access to the data, right to be forgotten. Okay, and you have to have your consent for those companies to collect your information, and also companies has to report if there's a security breach, okay, in their systems. So it is extremely nice regulation in Europe for the European countries. And in California, we have CCPA, California Consumer Privacy Act. It's almost the same. It's little differences, okay, with little differences. And these are the things are getting important to control those companies, provide privacy, or to get some rights for your information, And if you look at the global security, cybersecurity index of 2020, Turkey is in pretty good shape, rank 11, okay, right here. And number 1 is United States. And in Europe, Turkey is number 6. So these are defense capabilities, attack capabilities, okay, and the legal issues and all those kind of things. But all the countries are working on those kind of stuff at the moment. Okay, I would say from my experiences that major players in the cyberspace is China, Russia, and United States. These three big countries are really playing important role. A lot of information going on everywhere, okay, in Twitter, in Facebook, in newspapers, news stations. So we don't even know anymore which one is true and which one is a lie. At least there are some sites in United States, and if you want to check the facts, you can go and check it from these sites, basically. So after all these discussions and after all these talks, I would say this. You can do all those things. Okay. You can decide which tools you're going to use, which VPNs that you're going to use. You may have this toilet or the restroom in that glass house in a way. But unfortunately, what you are able to do is very limited. And this is the saying of Bruce Schneider, this famous saying. He says that we are all screwed. Okay, so if you know this, act accordingly. That's gonna be my conclusions. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Professor ERTAUL. Now, I want to ask one thing. Do you think these virtual VPN services, do you think these things are good or bad? And is it necessary to block these, or should we make it available more for free?
Are we talking about VPNs?
Yes.
Okay. VPNs is always questionable. Okay,
yes.
and the usage of the VPNs, we have two usages. One is called tunnel mode, and the other one is called transport mode. In tunnel mode, we do send the stuff in encrypted format, and we are also hiding the IP addresses, so on and so forth, so nobody knows where you are actually trying to access. Okay, but when it comes to the VPN service provider, this VPN service provider has to open this package, then it has to send it whatever the destination that you wanted to go. Okay, so the question suddenly becomes not the protocol, whether protocol is secure or not. Question becomes, is this company a reliable company? Is someone can access data in this company when they open the tunnel mode to redirect the packet to the destination? So that becomes the reliability issue for that company. Some companies are pretty good, but some companies may be collaborating with the government, or maybe there could be some actors on the behind the scenes.
Maybe the government could provide the service.
Well, that is very good, Hocam, because I asked this question in my cybersecurity classes. Who trusts their government? Look, I'm getting a lot of international students, right? Okay, because of the location and everything in my university. I didn't see so far in my 20 years of teaching the international students. I got students from all around the world, I should say. None of the students told me that they do trust their government. None of them. Okay, so if the government provides that service, forget it. It's gonna be a big trouble. Big trust issue anyway.
Our students, they have one question for you. They say, why you prefer Signal over WhatsApp? Why you switch?
Okay, yeah, that is extremely very good question. Let's put it that way. The reason that I personally switch is that the only difference between, maybe I shouldn't say only difference, there are some other differences. But for the known differences, one different thing affected me. Signal is encrypting the whole metadata, the whole raw data, totally encrypted. They cannot gather any information about you. But in WhatsApp, that information is not encrypted. Meta information is not encrypted. So that gave me the reason to move on the Signal. And also, Facebook have some trust issues right now in the United States and all around the world, and they are struggling a lot. I used to be I gave a couple of interviews to ABC, NBC, and CBS News in Bay Area in San Francisco about Facebook. They think that I am a Facebook expert. I'm not, but for some reason they thought that I am. And every time when we talk about Facebook, and there is a big trust issue comes up. Facebook says, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, okay? But then something happens, we realize that they're not doing what they said that they were doing. So that's extremely important. And I'll give you one example. If you guys remember Christchurch killings in New Zealand, one guy came to the mosque and killed the people with the gun, and there was live pictures over there, okay? And supposed to be Facebook algorithms supposed to catch that one when it happened, but no, it didn't. They didn't even realize that that was happening like almost half an hour or something. And based on the information that we know, actually they realized that that is happening because someone from New Zealand, some police department guy from New Zealand, called to Facebook. They said that shut it down, some live killing is happening. But they were so proud of those artificial intelligence algorithms, machine learning algorithms. I told you, we don't know what they are doing. They know everything about us, but we don't know about them, unfortunately. So that's why you may say that there's trust issues. And in United States right now, especially political establishment, is very against these big corporations at the moment. There's a lot of discussion going on in the Senate and the United States Senate. I think that's my guess. I think they are going to split Google and Facebook in very near future.
They are all commercial companies after all. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
They all want to make profit. Yeah.
Of course, but that became such a big monopoly.
Yes.
Okay, they are controlling everything. Okay?
Yeah.
So that control has to be controlled. That's the whole idea.
Just like partitioning the banking system in United States, maybe we need to partition the social networks, and it's not
Yeah,
a single company. Yeah.
Otherwise things are getting really interesting. For example, we are protecting ourselves right now, right, with this information a little bit. I have that restroom right now in my house, but hacking is changing right now because of the artificial intelligence and machine learning. Now we are getting AI hackers. So in other words, a piece of code is going to check the vulnerabilities of the systems, hardware and software, and it's going to identify those vulnerabilities, and it's going to mount attacks. So there's no human being anymore. It is just a artificial intelligence algorithm. So those things are coming at the moment, and people are getting more scared. But I tell you this, especially to the audience, I know we have enormous amount of people, by the way. I tell you this, if an AI algorithm is identifying the vulnerabilities of the software or the hardware that we are using for hacking, that means that we can use those AIs for defense. While we are creating the software or the hardware, these AI algorithms can find the vulnerabilities before we start using those softwares. So I believe that that kind of development, defense is gonna win in the future. But in the transaction, going from those to the full AI environment for the defense, and we may have some problems.
Also, do you have any investments in metaverse, Levent Hocam?
I don't. I don't, but I think it is coming, okay? And it's gonna be a big deal. And I know, again, from the environment that I live in, I know a lot of people in Facebook and Google and those kinds of places, and we time to time we do have meetings with those people for different reasons. And it's gonna be a big deal. And people will live in virtual worlds, I'm telling you. And a lot of things is going to be virtual, and our lives are going to be different, definitely. But metaverse or no metaverse, computer networks or software, are we going to have a secure system or secure universe? That is the question that I'm trying to answer. And in my mind, and it may be shared by a lot of people, that we may not be able to get full security because as a human beings, we are not able to identify the problem in every detail or identify the target or the object, okay, fully. And there will be always something missing that we didn't see. Then the AI is gonna come into that place. So we're gonna put something as an input into some kind of box. We will get some output, but we may not even know what that output is. Let me give you one example. Again, in my bio, you saw that Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy, that book. I don't know whether you guys are familiar or not. But in that book, super intelligent aliens, okay, decide to build a computer, super intelligent computer, to find the answer to the question of the life, universe, and everything. Question is the meaning of the life and universe and everything. And this computer worked like thousands of years, and one day it stopped, and the result, he said, 42. And then everybody said, hey, what is the meaning of 42? Okay, we know that it's a number. It is something reasonable for us. We do understand it, but we don't need to know the meaning of that 42. So AI is something like this right now. You put a lot of input into the box. AI is learning something. because we cannot define every possibilities. And then we get some output, but that output could be like 42. So what are you gonna do? And those people ask another question. They said, what is the meaning of 42? And the computer replied, now we have to build another computer to answer that 42. So we are going into that kind of era right now, and everybody is learning. But I can tell you this, and based on my experience, and I believe that with the AI and machine learning, deep learning, and all those kind of new technologies that's coming, it is going to improve the security. At some point, we will have more problems. Yeah? But when I said before, when we use these AIs in the defense, then I think it's going to settle down at some point, and we will have a little bit stable systems, and that's going to be the case in the future. Meantime, in Silicon Valley, a lot of people are working on the resilient networks. So we know that we're going to get hit, definitely, one way or another, because nothing is 100% secure. But the question becomes, if we get hit, can we minimize the damage? And my system still has to work at the same time. Minimize the damage, and system still will be able to work. So this is called resilient systems, so that the people are focusing on those things at the same time. So these are the new stuff from Silicon Valley.
Thank you very much, Professor Levent ERTAUL. This was really a very nice subject and very nice talk. You gave us a lot of useful information. Selçuk Hocam, do you want to say some things?
Well, finally, I want to thank him again for this
Thank you, Hocam.
And well, have a good day.
It. Okay, you too. I'm gonna go to sleep right now.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks for coming. Have a good night. Congratulations.
Maybe we can repeat it sometime later.
Yep, sure.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye. Joining this transmission. Bye.
Bye-bye.